Hello everyone and welcome back to the X-Ring. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying the series on how to get your child started in precision rimfire shooting. And it got me thinking about custom versus production and all of that. So I wanted to talk about some of the differences. You guys that have been following the channel for a couple years, you know that the AI, I've competed with that for a long time, and it's been a great platform waiting on the ATX. And you know, the difference between this and let's say a custom is I really can't change a whole lot on it. There are other manufacturers out there that make different hand guards, or in this case, you know, Area 419 did the Arca Swiss rail on the bottom, and this is a great platform, but it also comes with a price tag of, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 depending on which model, which caliber, and everything else. It is a great platform. It's one of the most accurate rifles that I own, one of the most precise rifles I own. However, if you are getting into the game of precision rifle shooting, you might have some type of discipline that you want to do that maybe there isn't a production model. Case in point would be like PRS or something like that, where maybe you're wanting a 28 or a 30-inch barrel, and you're going to have to go with a company that either does that exclusively, or you're going to have to get in touch with a gunsmith. Now, finding a smith that knows how to build a precision rifle is hard to find. There are a lot of gunsmiths out there, and just like anything in the world, some are better than others. The purpose of this video is to show you some of the custom rifle builds that I've had done throughout the years and who I'm using now, and hopefully it'll be a good episode, so stay tuned. All right, so one of the first custom rifles I ever had built was one just like this. This has been changed just a little bit. It is in 308. This was back in the day when 308 was king, and there wasn't really even any 6.5 Creedmoor at the time. And I had a good gunsmith that built this for me, and you know, the first one he built didn't take him much time at all, but as time went on, as he got more popular, and he did great work, it took longer and longer to get. This rifle right here, believe it or not, took me 2 years to get. And I had all the parts and everything else. We knew what we wanted to build, and it's nothing special. It's just his time frame and all of that. It really just didn't work out to where he could turn things around in a quick amount of time and have the quality that I was looking for. Now, the rifle set up like this, this actually did really well for me. I won a lot of money using this rifle. This was back in the days before all the sniper matches and everything else. And a lot of the sniper matches back in the day, you had to be vetted. You had to be military or law enforcement in order to compete in a lot of these, especially in the team events. And I had this one built, and it was an absolute tack driver. I had a McCree Precision chassis on it. It was chambered in 308. You know, had the suppressor on here. The suppressor's changed. But I was able to basically take a rifle in parts. This has a Hart barrel on it, and have it built up into something that I knew that was going to be sub half minute, you know. And we try not to get caught up in that, but we all do, you know, admit it or not. You know, I always say, if you have a minute gun, you can compete in pretty much any competition there is out there, because that exceeds most of our capabilities. If you haven't followed him, check out Chris Way on the Craft, K-R-A-F-T. He does a lot of data collection with regards to what people can actually do shooting off of a tripod or shooting seated position. And most people are hard-pressed to do better than a minute. So chasing that, you know, half-minute or quarter-minute rifle is really not going to do any good. You know, it's one of those things, enough errors cancel. Yeah, you could get the hit, but typically speaking, most of us, unless we're practicing, you know, 20 hours a week, you're not going to be able to hold that quarter-minute. Now, if we're talking about bench rest or something like that, where there's no movement, or, you know, like F-class, you know, that's going to come to wind readings, and you do want something that can hold really tight groups. This was a really good setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the rifles and the gun builder, talk about him on who I'm using now. And I think you're going to be pretty impressed with some of these builds, especially the latest build that he just built for me. All right, and I'll show you some of the close-ups of these rifles and everything, but this is one of the first rifles that I had built up by this individual that did an unbelievable job. It has an MDT chassis. It is chambered in 223 Ackley improved. It's built off of a Remington 700 Action, has a Douglas barrel, and this was actually intended for Ella. It was going to be a trainer rifle for her, and she's actually shot this quite a few times on some videos, and just this thing shoots lights out, guys. Even when you're fireforming 223, this thing still holds 3/4 minute while fireforming. So it's good enough to just shoot a match with some, you know, some 77 grain Sierra Match Kings, throw them in here, and it's good to go. Now, once you fire form it to 223 Ackley Improved and blow out the shoulder a little bit, to the 223 Ackley Improved, this thing is really a tech driver. Very impressed with this build. Everything from the fluting on the bolt, which in my opinion is just aesthetics, you know, maybe helps you get a little bit of clearance on some dirt and debris. It had a velocity trigger in it, but this thing just shoots lights out. It was an excellent, excellent rifle, and I was very, very impressed with his workmanship. He actually asked me if he wanted me to have him build up some loads for this before it ever left. And, you know, that's one of those things where the proof is in the pudding. And what he did was he actually shot targets at 100 yards, showed me the different loads, showed me the different powders that he used and which one, you know, showed the best promise. And then he could actually tell me everything. This was the charge, this was the load, this is the OAL, this is the O-job, all of that. And, you know, some people might not want to do that. Some people get a custom build. Maybe they want to do it on their own. Maybe they want to do that exploring. Me, on the other hand, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to get a rifle, I get it in, I know it's broken in, he's already broken it in properly, and I know I can just go ahead and go to the range, put a scope on top of it, and just go lights out. So this is one of the first ones he ever built for me, and man, was I impressed. And then I had a 6 ARC built. In theory, the 6 ARC is one of the best bolt guns out there, in my opinion. He presently shoots one. You guys know him if you follow the channel, but I'm still impressed with the 6 ARC and the bolt gun cartridge. You know, 6 Dasher is a great one. I have some 6 Dashers as well, but tell me something that the 6 Dasher does that the 6 ARC can't do, or maybe not even do better. That was a conversation that came up, because while I like the 6 Dasher and it's very, very popular, the problem is it does eat up those barrels. And so once again, you're sending your barreled action off and having it rebarreled. Maybe you have a pre-fit action or something, but that's still not quite custom. You know, I've done enough machining and been around it enough to know that it's hard to hold tolerances over time. And when you're talking about a production build, you're still going to have your QC, but it's always plus minus, you know, plus minus a 5/10 or whatever. 5/10 in the machine world would be 5/1000, okay? So as tools wear, you know, they're going to run those tools out a little longer, because you don't, you know, run 10 rifles and replace the tool every time. That wouldn't be advantageous for the companies to do that. But when you have someone that's taking the care to measure it, every single piece, part, and component, and know that, hey, he's taking 3 thou off of this face, or he's squaring up the lugs, it does make a huge, huge difference in the end result anyway. So let's go ahead and look at another build. But yeah, this is one that I really enjoy. Ella enjoys shooting it. And you guys know we've been on this rimfire kick, but let me talk about some of these other ones. Recently, he built me up this one. This one right here is in 6 Creedmoor. It has the Zermatt, the TL3 action, just unbelievably smooth and slick. I mean, this thing is like it's running on rails. Have no issues with it feeding, and it absolutely shoots lights out. This rifle right here will maintain 1/4 minute all day long. You know, he did the laser work on the sides. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll maybe show you some close-ups. And it's a 29-inch barrel. It's got the Area 419 Maverick on it. It's got the loophole, the Mark V HD, and it's got the XLR JV MV Pro. Great, great setup. I mean, this is something that's like perfect for PRS. You know, it is in 6 Creedmoor. The balance, I could definitely use a little more weight in the back, and that's something that I can do. I haven't really shot this a whole lot because we got so big into the precision rimfire. So there we go at the end of it here, the rimfire. So I had a rimfire just show up on Friday, and guys, I just can't tell you how impressed I am with it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this rimfire he just built. You can tell I kind of like the XLR chassis. This is the JV MV Pro, and this is on a Rim-X action. The Rim-X is a rimfire. It's made by Zermatt Arms. It does have an adjustable mag catch in the back of the magazine. They're very proud of these magazines, and I didn't know how this was going to do. And so it arrived yesterday, and so I couldn't wait. You know, got it in my hot little hands and wanted to get out to the range. It does have a Douglas 1 in 14 twist. This is a straight 1.1 basically diameter barrel all the way across. I mean, it's just, this thing is just a little dirty because it just got back from the range today. But you guys can see that. I mean, everything fits perfectly. It does have the TriggerTech diamond in it. I just wanted to show you some of the results. So when I got out to the range, I was like, you know, let's try it in Cinerex. And Cinerex wasn't too bad. I mean, right off the bat, that's not too bad at 50 yards. Now, this is for a rimfire. But then I switched up to Ely. Guys, that's a 10-shot group, okay? That's the same Ely with a 10-shot group. And this is the Ely pistol right here. So still very impressive. Today I went out to the range, shot out to 500 yards. And guys, although I do have some nice production 22s, I've never had anything like this. It actually has 800 rounds on it now without a single malfunction. So I've heard a lot of horror stories about getting Rimexes adjusted right, or feed issues and whatnot. I've had zero issues with this. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and cut to the chase for this infomercial here, right? Now, he is a really, really good friend. I did shoot with him at Burris. I've known Kenny for a couple of years now, but it is Kenneth I, E-Y, and he is the owner of Desert Precision Gunworks, or DP Gunworks. They're out of Lake Havasu, Arizona. And let me tell you guys, he builds some of the best rifles I've ever owned. If you were to ask me to pull out the most accurate rifle that I have in my collection, it is going to be a Kenneth I build. His turnaround time is excellent. I think right now he's somewhere about 4 to 6 weeks out. He does keep a lot of parts in stock, but he is one of those guys that is just so meticulous. His stuff is just right. He's done some videos here recently on his YouTube channel, which is Eagle Eye Precision, and just some of the stuff that he does and shows you, I mean, you can tell his attention to detail is just unparalleled. I think he's built over 300 rifles this year alone, and each one of them shoot lights out. And he's also the guy that, hey, if you want him to build a load for you, he can do that for you, and you just tell him what bullet or what weight, and if he doesn't have it, he'll get it, and then he can come up with a hand load for you. So big shout out to a good friend and a great gun builder, just an awesome guy all around. That's going to be Kenneth I with Desert Precision Gunworks. I hope you enjoyed this short video about customs. You know, there's a little bit to be said about being able to just have your own rifle. You picked through every single component. You know exactly what diameter barrel you wanted. You knew which chassis. There's just something really, really good about that. And a lot of times it could be cheaper than actually getting a really, really high-end production rifle. At some point, there are diminishing returns as to what a platform is capable of. You guys have seen some of the proof builds, some of the custom builds that I've reviewed on the channel. I actually have a new one upstairs. I'll probably, you know what, I'll just go ahead and grab it and show you. So guys, I haven't even reviewed this on the channel. I've actually had this for a little while, but this is actually a one-off built by Proof Research. Big shout out to those guys. Those guys have been a huge, huge supporter of the channel and have helped me out quite a bit. But this is made by Proof Research. This has the Tundra action. It is marked Proof on the other side. Guys, everything you see here, even with the Raptor and all of that, this thing weighs 11.5 pounds. Super, super lightweight. But you're looking at about $8,000 just for a base build, and that's without the optic or any of this. This has a different purpose though. It does have an Area 419 rail that I've added, but at some point you're going to have diminishing returns. You can get a really, really nice custom regardless of, you know, if you go with a Defiance action or if you go with a Zermatt action, you could probably get into that for $4,000 or less depending on what all accessories and options you chose. So Kenny keeps a lot of that stuff in stock, so it might be worth giving him a call. I'm not going to add a phone number or anything else. Google's your friend, and just check out Desert Precision Gunworks. Hopefully, this was some good eye candy for you guys to see, and maybe if you're on the fence about going with that next precision rifle, if you want to go with a custom or production, keep your options open because there are some really cool things you can do with some custom rifles. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you have a great week again. We'll finish up Series 4 here soon with a precision rimfire. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Have a great week.